All right, welcome back. Welcome back to episode 3 of our second season of Beloved Soulpreneurs, about women living their soul's purpose and power. This is about inspired and inspiring women who are bravely letting their souls lead in their life and in their business, who courageously heal what needs to be healed, let go of what needs to be let go of, and continue to step into their soul's mission, living the light of their love, learning and leading with their heart, aligning with their dharma, and the truth of a simpler and more loving way to live. So it's my greatest joy, and I'm so excited about this episode today, to welcome on the wonderful Becky Stanton. And Becky is a soul-led mindset manifestation and empowerment coach. All words super close to my heart. I know there's some parallels as well. And Becky is truly such a wonderfully authentic, grounded sweetheart of a being, and is really sharing her magic and leaning into that edge of expansion and growth from a place of heart and surrender to soul. And it's been a real beauty to watch her journey over the last couple of years. And yeah, I'm excited to get going. Welcome, Becky. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Oh, thank you, Amy. I'm really pleased to be here.
Oh, good. I'm glad. And before we began, everyone, I was just saying I was really admiring all of the beautiful pictures that Becky's put up behind her on the wall. And I'd love you to start actually just by speaking to the one on is my left, but it's the gold writing one, because I know that was the very start of your journey, and it's such an important message. So I wonder if you could just share a little bit about that before we begin.
Of course. So it actually says she believed she could, so she did. And it was actually gifted to me by a friend who's not in the entrepreneur world. And it's just such a special message for me, because that mantra really helped me navigate like the self-doubt that I was feeling in the very early stages. And now I can look at it and be like, yeah, I did believe, and I did, and I am, and I'm still leaning into those edges. So yeah, it really symbolizes the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, which brought up a lot of self-doubt and procrastination and self-sabotage and all the things. And it kind of was this grounding mantra for me to keep going.
Beautiful. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And the power of belief, right? I mean, that's so much the epicenter of the mindset work, is shifting from old beliefs we picked up that aren't true to new beliefs that are our truth, right? You know, we are as limitless as we believe that we are. So I'm going to rewind back and take us on a little journey today, because partly for my own curiosity, and also because my intention is that it really serves those that are listening and gives them some insight, upliftment, and inspiration on their own path. So this last couple of years, especially, there have been so many people waking up. I know it's being termed as like the Great Resignation. So a lot of people are courageously stepping into their soul's calling and mission. And sometimes that means leaving a job, sometimes it doesn't. But speaking to those that are taking the entrepreneurial path, it's not for everyone. It is a courageous path. And so I'd love to hear a bit about how that began for you, what the corporate world was before, and what that transition looked like.
It wasn't ever a path I thought I'd go down, if I'm
Love
honest.
that.
And I think a lot of people say that, right? But on reflection, it makes sense now. And even to the point, I remember in secondary school, my dad had a business for a very short amount of time, and it actually didn't end successfully, which was part of obviously some healing to do.
Well, ancestral packet.
Yeah. And so he used to get this like catalogue of stationery, and I remember buying a bunch of pens and then going to school and selling them. And so I think there was something within me of this kind of entrepreneurial spirit that was so beautiful, but it was also around that time of teenage angst and all the doubts coming in and that whole journey. So I ended up going down the usual university corporate ladder approach. Ended up in HR, had no plan to ever be in HR, but there I was. And I was working in a local government at the beginning, which didn't feel very sexy, didn't feel very me. And I just had this calling one day, actually, just to go to London and to work in luxury retail again. complete intuition, no idea where it came from.
Just dropped in and you were like, actually, I think I'm going to do this, go this way. Wow.
Absolutely. I remember the day I was sitting on my sofa. The job I had was very easy. You know, it was going really well. I was progressing good, but it was local government and it just didn't feel me. And I remember I found a job at Fortnum and Mason's, and every time I used to go to London, I'd go buy some jam or something. And I was like, I can imagine myself working there.
Yeah.
Only job I applied for, got it, amazing. And I moved to London. And that was then I went on the ladder of being in luxury retail, then luxury fashion. And it just got to a point where I thought, I'm just not happy. And it was around my Saturn return. I was 28, 29, 30. I had a few years of complete just isolation and feeling lost and not knowing what I was doing with life. And there was nothing external really happening to prompt that. It was just this inner feeling, this inner knowing that I wasn't meant to stay here. And I kept getting the nudge to start my own business, but I didn't know doing what. Had no idea, just knew.
You're like, thanks guys, can you give me a bit more than that?
I want to be my own boss. The 9 to 5 doesn't work for me. I don't thrive in structure and routine. Like, it really feels too monotonous for me and really dulls my creativity. Like the days when I was actually going out to stores and doing things different, I just noticed my energy was like in another realm. And long story short, it took me a long time to trust that inner sense that I'm not meant to be doing this. And started, I put in my resignation. I was meant to do 3 months, did 9 months out of fear. Kept hanging on to this old identity of like, okay, I know I'm meant to be going and doing this old thing, but I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, and exploring. That's scary, right? I actually think you're hitting on a really important part of the journey there, which is like you can see, or like it's almost like the old way is dissolving. You're seeing why it's not aligned with you, all of that kind of the false programming, but the new, the true self, the clarity of that has not landed, and it's this limbo in between where it's almost the void, right? And it requires such a deepening of trust and faith. And when that comes to how do I pay the bills, it's a really big concern, you know? It's hard.
Exactly.
It's hard, that middle stage.
And it comes down, like you say, to that fundamental fact in our society, money.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm leaving a job and I had nowhere to go to. There was no financial plan. I had no savings because of my money mindset and my money story. I wasn't aware of it then. I had zero savings. And yet I knew I had to leave with no plan. Wow. And everyone used to say to me, Becky, you're so brave. You're so brave. And I was thinking,
which doesn't help actually at the time. You're like, do you mean mad? Because I'm hearing brave, like I would never be that brave. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, literally like, wow, so courageous, Becky. I have no idea what I'm doing. I feel so foolish. And yeah, everyone around me, which is, you know, grounding into what was grateful. Everyone was supporting me, my family, my husband, purely from me saying I'm not happy and I need to do something about it. And it took another a year and a bit, trying on all these different business hats of what do I want to do? Do I want to be a party planner? Do I want to do, I had this Christmas idea because I love like the seasons. I knew it was meant to be something creative and different. And I just kept coming back to my mindset's in such a poor place that I'm not doing anything. And I knew I had to work on my mindset first. And as soon as I started to break free from the limitations, from the lack, from the doubt, from the procrastination, it was like I was in this whole new realm of, and I know it sounds cliche, and I don't necessarily say it to clients, but if I can do it, anyone can do it. And that was my mindset then of like, I know how stuck and lost I've been. Yeah. And actually, if this is working for me, wow, I have to get into this world. I have to support people in this way. So that was always the journey. Like if I'd realized that in my 9-month notice period, if I'd started the work by then, but I was meant to go through that pain and that challenge to feel so passionate about it. And so it was a good 2-3 years, the journey of deciding I'm not happy, to finding my passion, which was mindset coaching initially. Obviously, it's now evolved and expanded into lots of other ways, but that took a while for me. And that journey was so important there's no regrets there. I wasn't meant to go through all of the turmoil.
Yeah, yes. And I think it's often the way, right? Like it's like the chaos before the new order, the destruction before like the creation. Like, and I also feel as though there's like this energy of like the child in this, like the innocent child being given the space to play, to explore, because that's how creativity works. It doesn't work within structure. Even the tarot, it's the empress, right? There's a kind of chaos to it. And I love this distinction between like, actually I did have different areas of passions, and maybe those are still passions, but they weren't necessarily the one that was to be monetized. But I think there was a bigger soul piece in this that was actually, you realized it was your own biggest challenge, your own biggest initiation and healing was where, and your own biggest transformation almost, like, and maybe even wounding when you think about what you've inherited, that you could create the biggest difference. And then that was the path. So for anyone that's listening that's like, okay, I'm really struggling with this, I invite you to ask, okay, there might be something in that could be an amazing opportunity. So how can you serve yourself first? And then from that place, so much can come.
Yeah, beautifully summarized.
Beautiful. So you've spoken to it a little bit. Would you say, I hesitate using the term awakening because I don't think it's a one-time thing. I don't necessarily think it works in a linear sense either. But in terms of awakening, e.g., waking up, asking bigger questions, asking why am I here? What's life about? What's the truth if you're a truth seeker? Did that begin for you around the transition? And what categorized some of that outside of just the work? What did that look like for your life and identity?
Yeah, and I definitely agree that I think there are powerful moments and phases and seasons in our life that awaken us to deeper or expanded realms of possibility, but it's a day by day, moment by moment,
Right?
waking up. And for me, the deepest experience I had initially was this Saturn's return. I only know that, in retrospect now, but I was coming up to my 30th birthday, and I was also getting married and changing my name. And they were two big parts of my identity where I just had a moment to reflect of, who am I if I'm not, my maiden name was Shayla. Who am I if I'm not Becky Shayla? Who is she? Who's Becky Stanton? Who do I want to be? And then the 30th birthday of, am I really where I thought I'd be at 30? I had no idea where I'd be, but am I happy with where I'm at? So I had these two massive questions of just zooming out and reflecting. And that's where the powerful sense of change was coming up, of being like, you know what? I'm not where I thought I'd be. And I've got an opportunity to change. And I didn't know, I wasn't on a mindset path. I wasn't doing any of the gratitude or anything. I wasn't in that world. I was very much 9 to 5, work hard, hustle, play hard. That was my life, London life. And yet I was starting to question life. And it was so confusing. Right? Why am I not happy? I worked in luxury fashion. I had free bags, free shoes, free events, free champagne.
All the parameters of success we're told, right?
Had success. Yeah. Right. And I had opportunities to stay in this world, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. I wanted out. And it was just that was probably the first time I really stopped. And I remember I took myself and my husband to Marrakesh for my 30th birthday because I didn't even want to wake up in a gloomy March weather because I was so unhappy. I was like, I have to, and again, also, what did I think a 30th birthday looked like? It was still that kind of Instagram world. Okay, well, I have to wake up somewhere sunny. I have to, it was so stuck in that kind of external perspective of my life. And it was the first time I paused and I thought, you know what, I'm ready to change. Yet we can still have that inner conflict, right? Part of you's ready for change and the other part fears it. And really since then, since that first deep awakening, if that's what we're calling it, I've just been every single moment, every single day, still deciding and choosing who I am. I think that's how I see the
Love
awakening.
that.
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah, I don't know who I am. And now I actually don't mind not knowing. I think that's the most powerful thing. I thought I had to have all the answers, and I don't. And I'm fine with that now. It's more like you say, that curiosity, that being just playfully working out life in every aspect, business, money, relationships, just being really loose and flowy with it. And yeah, that's been the most powerful thing for me. And I'm still navigating it. You know, I'm okay with not having it all figured out.
Yeah, that's so powerful, so powerful. And I got full like body tingles as you were talking about your name changing and it being like this real junction point in your life. From a soul plan perspective, when we take on a new name, it's an overlay, and we actually have access to completely different energies that fortify us. So our energetic signature does actually recalibrate a bit. It doesn't change the initial blueprint, but it's an overlay, so it adds on top of it. And so really you were feeling those coming in as well. And then when you were saying a really great point about, hey, look, it's an every moment thing, this awakening, from the perspective of us being multidimensional, it's true, right? We can go down into the 3D, the egoic structures, the mental realm, the doubts, what's in the collective on a psychic level, what's in the collective unconscious. Then we can break through inspiration, the soul, something, inspires us, lights us up. We go up into maybe 5D for a moment, we get that inspiration. 4D, we're playing it out, we're in that realm of time. So we really are. And what you said about making peace with not knowing is so effing powerful. It's something 100% this year that I have surrendered to finally, because the not knowing, we're out of the mind. And the mind was never meant to lead. The soul was meant to lead. So we don't need to know. So for anyone out there that is like, yeah, but I feel all of the feels that come up when we lean into, hey, I actually don't know, that can bring up a lot of anxiety. Ego doesn't like that space. And the more that you can stay and befriend yourself there's a lot of liberation to be had. So thank you so much for speaking to that. It was really powerful. And this piece of curiosity, we get to play when we don't know, like that creates so much space to say, okay, well, I'm going to let my feelings lead me somewhere. I'm going to see where the energy is going, and it can start. Then we're getting into our true flow. Beautiful.
Yeah. And I think a big one around that as well was judgment was a big one for me. And I know for many others and my clients too. And it was by not knowing the answers, just allows so much love for others. You know, it's almost this beautiful flowy space between, yes, you can notice judgments, they're gonna come up, you can see them, you can witness them. But I think that's been a really profound part of my business journey as well as like life, of just having love for people and seeing almost seeing the judgment for what it is from me and also for them. Understanding it, almost seeing people from an ego perspective and seeing their soul as well. My ego is judging their ego essentially.
Right. And then you're getting to choose, hey, my higher self is going to hold them to their higher self.
Exactly. My soul sees their soul, because all souls are love and good.
Right.
And
we have a choice. Like, we can't love and judge at the same time. It's like we can't be in fear and love at the same time. They're so far apart vibrationally. It's like, okay, well, does it feel good to be in judgment? I know I'm in it. It's cool. I get to love myself here. Oh, I'm back in love. If I'm loving me, I can love them. Yeah. Thank you for speaking to that. And I feel as well, there's this feeling, just acceptance around it. Like, hey, at times I'm going to be in my ego and judging them, and they're going to judge me. That's okay. That's all part of this. That's good.
That's so beautiful. It really is loving that part of you as well, isn't it? That's another big part of my journey. I used to shame and really, this is a strong word, but really hate parts of myself, like the procrastinator, the inner saboteur, the less positive parts of me. And actually, the waking up was realizing to love all parts. And actually, the more you love those parts of yourself, the less power they have. Right. It's more just seeing them for what they are, understanding them. And it's just been a beautiful journey for me to navigate that. And still there's other new parts of me that are coming up that initially I feel shame or discomfort with. And it is this practice of choosing to understand with compassion and with unconditional love, to still navigate life with those new parts that are coming up.
Yes, such a powerful message. Thank you. I think, we're our own biggest critic often. That voice inside our head, that I think you call it the inner mean girl on your website, which I really loved. I was like, oh my God, yes. And it's like, we didn't come here to be perfect. We came here, Earth is a school, we came here to evolve. It's perfect that we're not. And as long, everything as well, I always think like, wants acknowledgement, and B, has an intelligence to it. So let's say, everyone has an inner saboteur. That saboteur is just trying to keep you safe. That came from a place of love. And we can love it for that. We can say, hey, we're not going to leave you in the driving seat all day, every day, but thank you for trying to keep me safe. And that allows that space for befriending it. Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, thank you. The power of compassion towards ourselves. Yeah, really, really wonderful. Okay, I'm going back to my questions. This always happens. I go off on a tangent. Okay, so my next question is, what do you feel, and this is something that's always evolving, so we'll just take this of what's present right now, but what do you feel like your soul mission is here in this life? Who you're here to be? Like, what's the predominant, maybe it's even like a theme or a word, or maybe it's really specific. What's your clarity on that?
To be 100% honest, I don't know right now. And similar to what I said earlier, I'm okay with that. And there's definitely I have senses of like what I'm leaning into and what feels good. And that is, I feel I pulled a card last weekend and I feel this message is really resonating, and it was like, pave a new way, be the leader that you wished you had. And I feel right now that is my focus within business, within life, of letting go of anything else that doesn't feel good on new, deeper levels, and just being the leader in life and business that I want to see.
Yes.
And I don't know where that's going to take me, and I'm okay with that, but I feel the mission is just this deeper. Authenticity gets used a lot, but I mean soul authenticity, of just trusting what feels good. And that's the check for me every day. Does this feel good? Does this feel good? Because my body's going to tell me. My mind's going to give me all sorts of answers and remember something I saw on Instagram or what other people are doing. Right. And that's okay. I see you. I love you. That's what you do. But actually, does it feel good for me?
Yeah.
And that's leading me down paths that are unexpected and into investments that are unexpected and to new offers. And it's almost, again, this word play, this playful co-creation of, I don't know what my mission is. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in a year's time. And I'm cool with that, because actually I am just going to tune in, stay grounded, stay connected, and be of service to people that I'm meant to serve, whatever that means.
Yes.
And I don't know what that means always. And I'm okay. Don't get me wrong. Some days my ego is like, get control, Becky.
Right. We must have a strategy for the next 12 months. This is unsafe otherwise. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. What are you doing floating around? Everyone else with their 5-year plans. What's wrong with you? Like, that's there. Okay. And I believe it'll always be there in some way. But yeah, it's almost coming back into myself and just seeing where it takes me. And I know this is something that we've spoken together about, and my father passed away earlier this year, and I feel that has been the deepest allowing I've ever experienced of fully let go, surrender. There's going to be things happening in life that you have no control over, so stop controlling in every aspect. And when you stop controlling, you widen and open up possibilities of what you can receive and experience and enjoy in life. And it's just been this, again, challenging but really eye-opening experience of just diving deeper into that. I think the word allowing keeps coming up for me. It's almost feeling into what feels good and allowing whatever that is, wherever it takes me, wherever it will lead me on my soul mission. I know that was the question, but wherever it's guiding me, I trust my body, I trust my instincts.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful, so powerful. And I'm seeing, as you're saying that, you know, literally like taking your soul by, like, taking you by the hand and being like, okay, I let you lead me. It's almost, it's this reframe, I think, of I just need to know in this now moment my next step, and the next now moment the next step, and that's actually all we need to know. And that's so simple, it's so easy. Sorry, it's so simple, but it's not always easy, because you know, all of the structures that we have to try and keep us safe. I did an interview last week for the podcast, and the analogy that we had with letting go of control and coming into this flow was creating a little raft in order to get into the river. So, right, okay, if I'm going to get into that big river, I'll create a raft, I have my armbands, I'm going to have, you know, everything that I need along the way, I'm going to make it beautiful. We get in and realize along the way that the raft's popped, it's just us, armbands are gone, whatever, and we're buoyant and we're being taken by the flow of life. Yeah, we're going to knock into a rock or two, our three-dimensional trauma that we're still dissolving, we're still integrating, we're still escalating out of, but just keep going, you know, just allow that flow to carry you. And I think there's a real beauty in seeing it like that, like I don't have to do it all. There's a greater force that's looking after me, that loves me unconditionally. And so it's safe to allow. And I think that's a really huge reprogramming for so many people. We're really taught like we have to make sure we're going to be okay, because if not, it's irresponsible, it's dangerous, and we live in a benevolent universe. We're loved, we're going to be okay.
And that's so beautiful that you've touched on that, because that's the journey I had to go through in the deconditioning and the feeling safe within your body to first of all trust yourself before even trusting the universe, right? Trusting your decisions. It's a big theme I see with my clients, where they come to me and they're not trusting themselves, they're not trusting their decisions. So it's really challenging to then trust something beyond you if you're not even trusting yourself. There's so many stories and resistances that come up in relation to surrender. You know, it's almost the joke of manifestation, isn't it? Do all of this manifestation work and then let go and hand it over, and people are like, what do you mean? Just did all the rituals to cool it in. But you know, I believe in the divine manifestation.
The co-creation, right?
Like that's been a big shift for me, that when I started out as a manifestation coach, I really believed in the you want it, you got it, like the Ariana song, right? If you want it, you align with it, you get it. And I was seeing a pattern with me and my clients, that when you manipulate your energy in that way, which you are, did I lose you there for a moment? Are you okay?
Yeah, it cut in and out. Okay, we're good. I think we're back.
Okay. So I just noticed a theme with clients, that these things were coming in, but they were short-lived. Some things were coming in and then going, and then they would make it mean something about them. And I just received this guidance one day, and it was like, what if they're not meant to have that? And I shifted my own personal practices and my coaching to be more in this divine manifestation of just being open to whatever's meant for you. And like you say, this downward stream. Once you get out of your own way, you trust yourself, you trust the universe you live in, you trust in that everything's happening for yours and everyone's highest good. You get to put your hands up and float. Right. You still get the nudges for the divine masculine action. You still get nudges to do things and to prepare yourself and protect yourself, whatever that is. But actually, you don't need to know what you're even manifesting.
Oh, so interesting, so juicy. Yes. So your first point about this manifestation, I'm going to do it. And so long as I align my energy and I can, the word you use was manipulate, which I love that. Then yeah, that's a 4D, right? We know that we are working in the quantum or the micro quantum. And so yeah, you can align with it and get it. But is that aligned for you in your highest good? And
Mhm.
this is something I've really been exploring recently about we can manifest from lack, we can manifest from the ego,
Mhm.
but it doesn't last because it's not in our highest. And there's our guides and all manner of
Mm.
uh, checks and balances that will help us with that. Where I've landed on it is somewhere in between the two, which is we are consciously creating with the universe. And I'd love to hear what your opinion is of this
Mm.
as well, because there's no right and wrong, and absolutely, yeah, I'm still exploring, but it's almost like I've really been enjoying recently playing that like childlike role of like, okay, so let's take an example. Say I want to move. I feel into the energy of all the things I love, the details. Now, they may be energetic details, like it feels like there's a warm breeze, so this place it's a warm place, or it might be really specific. There's willow trees in my garden, right? But I enjoy that energy. I anchor it in, and then I say, "Hey, universe, this or better, whatever is divinely right in the divinely right time. This is what I think I want, but I'm really going to put it through this lens or this filter of grace that is just going to be what's divinely right in the divinely right way."
Mhm.
And now I hand it over. And there's a beautiful book by a woman called Florence Scovel Shinn, and I wrote an ebook
Mhm.
off the back of it. And she talks about this like, you can have anything, but hand it over, because it's kind of like a child, right? Being like, I really want before bed a bar of candy, and parents like, you can have a bar of candy, probably best have it in the morning so you get some sleep. And I kind of see that relationship with like the divine in that way of like, we're still in that like learning our manifestation capabilities. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hand that over and say
Yeah.
what do you think about that? And yeah.
Yeah, well, I love that book. Definitely, is the game of life
Mm.
and how to play it, isn't it? It's
Mm-hmm.
so beautiful, and it's very similar to how I coach my clients and how I use manifestation now.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, it's feeling into your body. You're still going to feel desires. As
Yeah.
you engage with the world, you're going to see what other people are experiencing. You're going to see things. And it's really putting it through that lens of, does this excite me? Does this feel
Yes.
good? Does this bring joy? And it's like, okay, well, maybe there's something here for me.
Mm.
And yes, it's then, having it in your mind, your body, and your soul of like, okay, maybe this is a desire for me. But having the awareness that your mind is limited.
Yes.
Okay, so that's like the 4D you're talking about, or the 3D, sorry, of like, okay, I know there's a desire here, but I'm also aware of my ego, and I'm also aware of my limited perspective on life.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you say, it's almost handing it over of like, this feels good, I'm going to feel into it, but guide me to what's for my highest good. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's being playful,
Mm.
especially with money goals as well. So I do this a lot with my clients of, it's okay to feel into, say, the 10K a month. It's so trendy, isn't it? 10K a month business a month, whatever that means for you. And it's okay to be like, okay, on some level, there's a part of me that desires 10K months. It
Mm.
gives me the freedom. It gives me this money flow that I can enjoy and enrich my life, and also flow it out to other businesses that mean a lot for me, right? 10K months aren't bad. They're really beautiful, but it's the difference in the energy around it, and
Mm.
also the handing over of how you get there.
Yeah. And
Okay. And
mm. Sorry, please continue. I'll
yeah, and I think it's just that blend, isn't it? It's okay to have goals because your mind loves goals. This is what I share with my clients. Like, it's not bad to say, fool your mind,
mm.
to prepare your mind to look for opportunities and do all those wonderful things that your mind supports you with. It's okay to have goals. And
Mm.
on a soul level, it's actually grounding into it, knowing that you've got that goal for your mind and you're open to anything. So if that goal doesn't manifest and you're sent down a different route, you're going to trust it. because it's not happening against you, it's happening for you. So it's almost finding that balance between them. And with that requires a lot of, well, no, not a lot of, it depends, but some healing, some deconditioning, and really learning to trust yourself and the world we live in. And that can take some time and practice for people.
Yeah, for sure. I think the theme through what you're saying is non-attachment, right? If you're pulling in these things, or you're setting goals and there's an attachment of whatever you're going to make it mean about you, or certain feelings, certain states that you're attaching to that, there's some deconditioning in there. And there's a nuance, I think, between a mind level goal and an energy that you're intuiting that's coming. Like you're saying, it's like this piece of, there's something about that that excites me. Okay, cool. I'm going to hold that lightly. And I think the more that our extrasensory kind of perceptions get turned on and clarified and notched up, then I'm sure you've had this experience where you're like, that's interesting. I felt this energy a while ago. Or look, it's coming to happen now. I was right. And so there's this intuitive, precognitive playing with the energies. And it feels so different from the kind of grasping energy, right? Of, I want this goal, I need to get this goal. If I don't get this goal, there's something wrong with me. I'm not a good manifester. I'm not, whatever the story is at that mental level. So thank you so much for speaking to that and those nuances, because it's really hard to get to those nuances through what's out there in social media. We only can go so deep. And then obviously I'm sure you go into the depth in your containers as we're doing here, but I'm really glad that this is reaching far and wide as well for people that might be newer to manifestation, being like, what? Like, can't we just say what we want and have it now? Okay, beautiful. So this rolls really nicely into the next question, which is abundance mindset versus lack mindset. And I know this is a theme across your offers, and I know you can't see it because it's literally right behind you, but there is a framed picture that says enough. And oh my goodness, this is a journey, believing in our worth, believing in our enoughness, coming to understand abundance on all levels. So my question is, can you talk a little bit about why that's a focus for you and why you think it's so key for women that are entrepreneurs and following their soul?
Yeah. And the abundance mindset, in my perspective, is beyond money. It includes money, because money, is a beautiful thing in our life. It really is. But it's really just choosing to see the world, which is our mindset, right? It's the perspective, it's the lens that we see what we're experiencing in the now, by really appreciating how abundant you are in every single way. Even from the simplicity of air. It's one thing we all commonly share is the abundance of air. See, the quality of air might change where you are, but there is an abundance of air. And
you're still breathing. Yeah.
You're still breathing, because if you're here, you're breathing, right? You're alive.
Right. Yeah.
And
it's a miracle, actually, if you want to go into the whole physics
it really
of it,
is.
and we just overlook it. Yeah.
The first grounding principle for me of like, I'm breathing, and that is like, just so appreciative to even be here and breathing. And the abundance mindset is creating this perspective on the world where you learn and you form new neural pathways to see and appreciate how abundant you already are before you've even shifted energetically. And without going into detail of how the mind works, you focus on what you believe. You really do. And you dial out and just ignore anything else that isn't in alignment with your beliefs and your values. So the very first thing is to really work on your inner subconscious belief system to feel more abundant in that way. And then your mind is naturally just going to filter in more of the abundance that you already see. More opportunities, more gratitude for, I'm looking out my window to an abundance of leaves. Like, I've got a small patch of sky and everything else is just leaves, and I can look at that and appreciate and see the leaves, because I've been working on my mindset to be tuned to filter in and appreciate abundance. And when you do that in the whole aspect of your world, you can also do that with money. Right, of really appreciating how financially abundant you are. And it's actually, I see this a lot with clients when they come, they say, I've got a lack mindset, I've got a lack mindset, my money's really bad. And when you ground back in and they're able to look at their world as it is, they can instantly feel abundant financially by actually appreciating already what exists for them. Not even like possibilities beyond, it's actually what is there. And so I'm really passionate about abundance mindset because it just shifts how you experience, how you feel, how you think about the world right now. It's what I wish I had all those years ago when I was feeling so unhappy. And, you know, there is a little bit, there used to be a bit of guilt and shame of how could I be so unhappy? Because I just wasn't appreciating what I had, just didn't care about it. You know, my mindset back then would have just, you know, still would have created change and followed soul, but with a lot more gratitude and appreciation for what is. And it's the foundation for me of having this abundance mindset where you already feel joy, you already feel free, and you already feel fulfilled before any business success.
Right? Because we create more of what it's like the conception sets the blueprint of anything we create, you know. So if we ever create from lack, even if it's really subtle, even if it's like, it can be so subtle, that will show up in some form in what we're creating, right? And I love that you said like anchoring back into the abundance that you have now. Like that's such a key part of it, right? Like now coming back into the present is a present, like that's where abundance lies. And it's only when we're pulled into future, sometimes past, but often future, I want this, I'm grasping for it, that there's a lack and there's that gap. So I love that. And I love the simplicity of almost this, the two sides of it, right? Like the going into the subconscious and reprogramming so that the filter changes and there's a different selection bias, but also from the top, like, hey, I'm looking at my tree outside, there are so many leaves on that tree, there's such an abundance of green, wow, it is beautiful. And just really having the awareness that brings so much joy and freedom and peace and all those beautiful energies, they're available now. Thank you. Really beautiful, really beautiful.
And the next phase of that, when you already appreciate how good life is and you appreciate that everything's abundant, you're then open to receiving abundance in all the ways: clients, money, opportunities, experiences, whatever you desire that feel good in your body. It's knowing and trusting they're available in abundance. But it starts with now, as you say, it starts with grounding you with what is. And then once that is just your way of being, that is your mindset, that's what you look for. As soon as you're ready to call in more clients or call in more money, it's already given that it's available abundantly.
I love that. I love that you made the distinction that it's not just money as well, because I think sometimes I've definitely been guilty of this, where I'm like, I'll do an exercise where I might be feeling lack in money, but I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm so wealthy and rich in, my dog's going to say hello. Hello, I'm so abundant and wealthy in time. I'm so abundant and wealthy in sunshine, like all of these things, and realizing, okay, if I trust the universe, maybe right now this is a time for me to enjoy prosperity and abundance in all these other areas. And another time I might have abundant, you know, like it's always going to change, but abundance is always there. But we have this, I don't know, I especially think in kind of the entrepreneurial world, this, when we're in entrepreneurial hat on, CEO hat on, of we're judging ourselves just by the money, and the abundance can be in so many areas. Like even the fact that like you're the most qualified you've ever been for your job today, like isn't that a really abundant place to be in professionally? You know, like there's so many bits. So I love that. Thank you. So we've talked about abundance, and this leads into this anchoring into abundance being a kind of a core place for you and your business, and also for your clients. What are the other values that underpin your life and business that are really important to you? Really know that you're following your soul and you're in your heart.
Yeah. And I've been playing with these for a while now. And the ones that keep coming back are this sense of freedom and every client I receive desires freedom. Like, it's definitely, there's something beautiful happening here. That's the theme of my clients, whether it's more time freedom, financial freedom, creative freedom, or just this sense of feeling free, in their world. And for me, that's been a really big value for me of creating that freedom. It's what spurred on me wanting to leave, because I felt so rigid and chained in.
Right, yeah.
I was desiring just to do my own thing and be free, run away to an island, if I could, if I wasn't in a relationship. I was desiring this freedom.
Sorry, hubby, I'll be back in a minute.
I still threaten him every now and then. I can still run away to Bali,
Nice.
Only joking. So definitely freedom. And the other one that keeps, well, there's two really, they're kind of connected. One is openness. And I noticed that the more I'm open and share what I'm going through, it's almost like authenticity, but it's just me being
vulnerability as well.
Open. Yeah. So I've been sharing what I've been going through, and with clients, I'm just this open book. And that has been really powerful for me. And I see the shift in my clients through me being so open. And it kind of connects to the other one, which is honesty. Like, they kind of connect for me, but there's also honesty in business is kind of deeper than openness, in terms of there is this sense, this feeling about the coaching world. And it hurts me deeply when I hear people talk about it, of how people do feel manipulated, and they don't like the way certain people do business and all of these things. And, talking about the big financial wins or the actual level of coaching they're receiving, I choose not to go too deep into it. But I pride myself on being a real honest business owner. So I'm open in a sense, I'm an open book, but I'm also an honest person. And I'm still playing around with what that is. Like, as I say, paving a new way, being the leader I wish I had, is really about standing firmly in just being honest, open, with lots of freedom to be free as a bird.
Oh, I love that. Beautiful. Yeah. There's like new leadership as well. We're really beginning to sense someone's like integrity and energetic, like the energy behind their words, right? As we're waking up. And I think it's so important now. Like, new leadership is not like the old adage of like, do as I do, not as I do, as I say, not as I do. And it's like, no. Now it's about embodied leadership. Like, actually, I'm going to lead you through what I've led myself through, and my words have to line up with my action. So I love that. Openness, freedom, honesty. Yeah, really, really beautiful. There you go, guys. Powerful. So that's how you show up. What is the impact that you desire to have on the women that come into your world? What drives you, that service-led piece that brings a fulfillment?
It is the freedom. As I say, that's the theme that right now my clients are calling for. They come to me. I see two types of clients. I've got some clients that are already hitting, the 6 figures, 7 figures. They're really successful in business. They actually love their business. They're really doing incredible, impactful things. That's the theme of those clients. But they are stuck in this masculine pattern.
Wheel, of it.
Yeah, hamster wheel. Go. It's not safe to rest. It's not safe to do anything for you. It's clients first, must serve. And they're doing incredible things. It's so beautiful, but they're burning out. So there's almost the freedom from that perspective, and the impact is, again, it's a mindset. Right? Once you have the mindset that it's safe to rest and it feels safe in your body, and energetically you're listening and tuning in, you get to still make the same impact, more financial success, creating this huge wave in their industry, but actually enjoying it more, enjoying the journey, being present, feeling free now, not when there are 8 figures, for example.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful from that perspective. I'm still also really passionate about where I've been in terms of stuck in the procrastination, in the doubt, in the self-sabotage, having this incredible vision to make this massive wave. And they've started it. They're 1 to 2 years in business. They're doing incredible things, but they're torturing themselves, just like I was, right? It's everything's harder, and you're really, that inner critic, that mean girl is really slowing you down, and the fear is holding you back. So they're just, carrying this heavy backpack, and it's just such a slog that sometimes they even dream about going back to their 9 to 5 where they weren't happy, but it felt easier, and I'm still passionate about them because the impact is I help them unpack that backpack, right? And I just had a vision then the backpack does turn into wings, and they're able to leap and fly and feel the freedom of stepping into their vision and stepping into more of their highest self and trusting themselves more. So in terms of the impact right now, who knows where it will go in a few years' time, but it's about women in business doing wonderful things, but also feeling happy, feeling joyful, feeling free right now, not once they've got there.
Beautiful. So coming back to themselves wherever they are in that journey, their true selves, their higher self. Yes, I love that. Thank you. So what would you say, we've touched on this a little bit, but we've only done one side of it. You said one of your biggest challenges was the mindset stuff and unpacking all of that. What's been your biggest challenge in business today, but also what's been your biggest success?
So biggest challenge, it probably is the self-doubt, the worthiness, the procrastination was a big one. I can waste time probably the best in the world, it feels like. Give me a day
I'm
and I can
very
waste
skilled.
it.
I'm very skilled in this area. Yes.
And like the self-sabotage, like that was a big one for me, and it was always came back down to this innate fear of being the version of me that I could see her, I could feel her, I had moments of her, but there was a real fear of being her for so many different reasons that I had to explore and still exploring to new levels, right? And that was the biggest challenge, because you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know what support I needed. I didn't know how to navigate it. And it was a long time of exploring all these different, modalities and coaches to try and figure it out. But it did end up feeling like there's something wrong with me and I need fixing, because I felt like I was on that.
You can get into that pathology.
Yeah. Oh, they're doing well, they must have the answer. Oh, I'll invest in that because that will be the answer. This will be my moment. And
which is a sneaky form of lack, but a spiritual lack. I've caught myself in this more than once, and realizing I'm still externalizing. And that's not to say other people can't hold the keys for us and help us do it faster, but ultimately we do still have the answers inside us for this, right?
Exactly. And it was, again, ego. It's looking for an answer, and it's just like you said, it was coming back in. I still invest in myself, but I tune into how it feels in my body, again, trusting my body has the answers. And yes, my head might protest and say, no, don't do it, you're gonna lose everything, don't do it. But I now understand it better. And I do think it's from using the modalities, training in what I've trained in, having the investments I've invested in, but also time. I do think it's almost that I got to a point where I thought, I'm done with this. Right, I'm done with this, and I'm just gonna try trusting myself and see what happens. But it was almost this pivotal moment. And I think what's interesting for me is my husband's in the military, so we move a lot, and I almost see my expansion per house.
I love that. Different energy in each place as well.
And it's almost because there is change, and I love variety, I love change. It's like, okay, who am I going to be now? I'm here. Like, it's a really beautiful thing for me right now. but there's no reason to say you need a house move for that, right? It just prompts it for me because it's a physical change as well, a new environment. So yeah, that's definitely my biggest challenge, and it's still what I'm exploring. Like, I've just made the biggest investment in my business this month, and I had all of the reactions: the mind, the body, the energy. Right, I had sore throat. I've even like hurt like my right side of the body. Like, so much was coming up where I just knew it's because I'm feeling into a new edge. So new financial investment. It's actually, I'm leaning into something that I've never leaned into before. And it's knowing that I can navigate that now with more love, more compassion. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I know the answers are within, but I now know how to support myself. So it's been the biggest challenge, but as I say now, is like the greatest gift that I can do that for myself. And what was the second part of the question, lovely?
Can I ask a little side question?
Of course you
real
can.
quickly? How did you know with that step that it was an empowered and aligned decision for you, even when there was, like you said, there was this resistance happening on different levels? Like, oh, I trust my body, but my body is also putting resistance up from a level of trauma or whatever it is that's coming up. How did you, what enabled you to trust that that's right for you?
Yeah, so just tuning in, speaking to my soulful self and my guides of, does this feel, is this the right direction for me, and just getting this sense of peace. And then obviously being like, well, why is this happening? But it's knowing that it's just my old identity, it's my old way of being like, oh my God, really, you're going to invest that much money? What if it doesn't work? And it's just the fear. And as long as I've got that sense of, it's different, I felt a sense of peace this time. And I think it's a lot around my money mindset as well, that I'm very playful with money now. You know, younger Becky would have been, well, what if you waste money? What if nothing comes of it? And I've just got this new perspective on money where it's just like, I know it's energy, and I know I'm going to get a fair exchange, and who knows where it's going to be. And it doesn't, those words don't even come into my mind anymore. It was more the fear of, I'm leaning more into my masculine in this investment. And I had a wounded masculine, and it was more, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to go in this direction? Whereas I got a sense of peace within, of being like, you're ready for the balance now. And then I started to hurt my right hand side. Like, I hurt like
you can't make this stuff up,
like,
right?
what is going on? But it is me leaning into that edge of, it's time now. Like, I did all the things, I did tarot readings myself, I did the Reiki. I've just been like, are there any signs? Is there anything I need to know? And everything was just leaning into, it's time, it's time, it's time.
Very cool.
And and it's just trusting it and knowing that I don't believe in a wrong investment now. Every investment I've made, it might not have happened as I thought, just like we said with manifestations, right? It might have gone in a different direction, but it's led me here, which is, I'm so happy, so abundant, so grateful for life. So I feel the same for this investment. Let's see where it takes me.
Yeah, I love that. And that's trusting the flow again, right? That like what's meant for you is going to show up. And it doesn't matter if you turn left or right, ultimately it's going to be brought onto your path. I love that. And I think really, really powerful that there's a sense of peace when I tune into me. Like, that's definitely, I would say, like the marker for me when something's right or when it's wrong, is stepping back, dropping down. And then I think there can be chaos on many levels, but there is like an inner knowing, it's quiet, but that it's there. So I love that. And that, who knows what's going to come, being playful, holding things lightly. So my next question, which is the other side of that coin, was, although not, because you've kind of gone around it, but what's been your biggest success to date since leaning in and courageously following this path and this passion?
My biggest success.
This is a hard one.
My mind went automatically to physical things, and then that felt wrong.
Interesting.
So wrong's not the right word. It was like, no, that the biggest success is actually relaxing in business. I know it's going to sound really strange, but even today, I knew I had a couple of calls. I've got some priorities to do. And in between that, I know I'm going to be doing whatever I feel called to do. Like that's the biggest success for me, of knowing that I thrive with variety and with rest and with doing things that bring me pleasure, whatever that is. And that feels successful. Yes, I've manifested, incredible clients and amazing opportunities, and I'm in a house I adore, and all of these things. I've manifested so many physical things, but this daily sense that I feel safe and abundant and peaceful where I am is the biggest success. And that's a mindset, and that's a practice, and that's an embodiment of everything that I've been working on recently.
Yes, celebrating that and all of that beautiful work you've done. I love that, like, success is coming home to ourselves, right? The truth of just the truth, because that is the truth, like, you can relax. That is the way to flow. You are abundant, you are helped, things are coming, you are right on time. But really, and you do get to live your design, and it does get to be easy. And for you, that looks like variety and freedom and all these beautiful things. So I love that, this, like, real alignment with your unique design and self. Beautiful. So on the back of that, you have so many gifts, and I know, having done your soul plan as well, which is such a joy. What do you most enjoy with clients? What have you noticed through feedback and just your own kind of understanding of the superpowers that you bring? I know that you're a 2-5 projector, you're an INFP, I'm just giving a little bit of context. You've got that beautiful Taurus energy, your sun and your moon, I think, and Pisces rising. I did a little check-in on the website earlier. I was like, oh yes, those are the energies I feel. The 2-5 is like hermit and heretic. So within all of that beauty, what are your superpowers, do you think? What are your favorite gifts that you share in your business?
I do think by me embodying my truth, like we've just said, actually activates my clients and gives them permission to lean into themselves, boundaries and things like that. So I think my own personal journey, the more I work on myself, the bigger manifestations and incredible things happen to my clients. Like, it's just so magical for me to see that.
It's a mirror, right?
It's less around me knowing all the skills and doing all the things for them to have the most incredible experience with me. Like, the biggest thing is when I am embodying everything I believe, they're activated and they're having the most incredible time themselves. It's also this sense of, I have rituals before I get into calls, but I just see their soul. I see their ego and I see their soul. And I just have this knowing, this sense in me, which one's speaking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I just went in sessions, like it's just an intuition, I guess. And I have rituals where when I go into client calls, it's not really about me. I have this prayer to be the channel for their higher selves and their guides to work through me. And then I'm just present to be with the client. And I feel like it's almost a superpower. It's not really, I believe we've all got, the possibilities of it, but just to know which part of them speaking and being able to navigate them through it. So it still blows my mind. Like, it really, like, my ego mind gets blown every time I pull an oracle card as well for a client. I go in like, oh, I wonder where this is going to take us, and it's exactly the message. Like, it just, my ego is just like, this is weird.
What is this? And you're like, we do this literally like twice a day, guys, come on.
You're like, get used to it, Becky.
Right. And
I think it's the co-creation, I guess. The superpower is now knowing that it's not about me. I think before it was like, I want to be the best coach, I want to get people the most incredible results. And the big shift for me has now been, it's got nothing to do with Becky Stanton, right? I've got these modalities, I know how to support them, it's intuitive for me now, but also there's something working through me. It's not about me, it's about them.
And it's such an honor, right, to be that vessel, to be that channel, to be the witness of those activations, healings, wisdom, whatever it is that comes through. Like, I don't know, for me, that's a joy. Like, the bit that I get out of it is it's complete joy for me, and then they get whatever they want. And I love what you said about the power. I know, Bubby, sorry, my dog's wanting attention. And I know what you're saying about the power of having that ritual. The power of that intention is so huge, you know, like it really allows us, I think, to set the ego in a safe space so that we can be that kind of clear channel. So yeah, I love that. Beautiful. And that's very cool. Is this your ego, or is this your higher self? And that's a journey we're all on, right? To help integrate the ego and be our higher self. So, oh, I love that. I really love that. Okay, last couple of minutes. I've got a few more questions, so I'm gonna feel into which one to go with here. Oh, Okay, this is a little bit left field, but I'm intrigued, so I'm going to throw it in there, which is, do you resonate with the notion of star seeds? And if so, are there certain star systems or places that really resonate with you? And if so, where?
It's really interesting that you chose that question, actually, because I don't go too deep into them, but I do use the Starseed Oracle. I'm always gravitating towards it. It's the one that I always pick up. And I feel like I'm being invited to learn more, because there's definitely some themes coming up where, you know, when you start to see the word starseed all the time, like it's everywhere.
Yeah, okay.
Right? And I just know that's an invitation to come in deeper. So I guess in this like curiosity world that I choose to live in, like I'm open to hearing about them all, but I keep being invited into starseed. So I feel that's where I will explore. But yeah, I must be honest, I don't know all of, like I don't know what I don't know, right? So it's always
nice. I love that you're
to
gravitated towards that deck. Like there's a natural, I love that deck. It's beautiful. Like, and the colors are so similar to your kind of soul colors as I see them. Yeah, I find it really fascinating. I think there's a kind of, there's the top surface level, right? Around, okay, my dog's gonna have to say hello. Look at this little face.
Oh, hello.
You coming onto the podcast? Did you want a little cameo? Did you? Yeah, okay. You gotta go down now. This idea that, you know, so many of us, I think, have spent time and at different levels. You know, at the end of the day, we are a higher dimensional spiritual being in a human body, and that higher dimensional being has probably spent time in many different places, right? Or is attuned to many different places. If we're channeling, we're attuned to many different places. So I find it really interesting. The logical part of me loves geeking out on all of this stuff, but yeah, I'm excited next time we touch base. I'll have to ask you that same question and be like, oh, what's been revealed? And my final question to leave us on and to wrap up with is, what most lights you up?
Again, I looked out the window, it's nature.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just being in nature. And I'm so grateful that I'm currently living surrounded by the most incredible countryside, that I can just walk out and I'm in nature. So quiet, so peaceful. And no matter what's happening in life, that instantly grounds me and brings me so much joy and clarity and peace and fun. You know, sometimes just sitting there watching a caterpillar lights me up.
Yeah.
So simple.
Yes, so simple. The simple life is the best, though. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. For anyone who's feeling at times, you know, there's a lot we're processing in the world right now. If you're feeling like you're struggling to come back to you, to come back to what's true for you, to find that direction, that alignment, that peace, nature holds the gifts. It really does. It's like an automatic little reset, isn't it? So thank you so much for sharing that. Becky, it's been such a joy having you on today. It's been so much fun, and I can't wait to share this out in the world as well. Thank you for doing what you're doing. Thank you for being who you are and sharing your magic, having the courage to share your magic, and for continually asking and leaning into your light and enabling and supporting others to do the same as well. Such a gift. Thank you for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy.